Okay, so you want to travel and you have no idea where to start planning? Listen to this video because I'm gonna tell you all the tips and tricks to get the best trip ever.
This is serious business. Are you still finding a ticket? Sometimes the location is not something you're gonna find every day. If you got the money, I'm not gonna hold you back.
If you don't know, I've been traveling ever since I'm 14 and I'm 24. I've been to France, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Spain, United States, including Hawaii. Went on cruises. They were in groups, some were not in groups, some were just with one person, some were completely planned out, some were kind of a go with the flow. So I know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about traveling. Okay, here is the breakdown of how I plan my trips in the most easiest way possible so that it's not all jammed up in your brain and you feel overwhelmed. So I have 6 or 7 steps for you to start your planning and be excited about everything. Before starting, my name is Maritu. If you just stumbled on my videos, hi, hey girl. I film lifestyle and fashion videos, so if you're interested in all of that, you better click that subscribe button. Okay, so I have my iPad here. This is serious business. I'm gonna start right away. The number one thing you need to know first is what type of traveler you are. Who are you? What are your interests? What do you feel like are deal breakers to you? What are just you don't care about? Are you the planner? Do you like to go with the flow? I'm a mix of like planner and go with the flow. I like to plan a bunch of activities, a bunch of options, and choose from those options the day of or when we're there. Of course, there are certain things that I book in advance because they're popular and everything, but most of the time, if we have the choice, I will always put a lot of options and then decide on the go. I know that I'm that type of traveler, so I will plan my trips accordingly. You know what I mean? So it's very important to know who you are. I'm sure you can find like quizzes online saying like what type of traveler are you, and then you do them and you find out. So it's kind of a thing where you find out when you're traveling. Give yourself grace and just try to be the best version of yourself while traveling. So you've done the work. You know who you are. You know what you like, what you don't like, what you want. Now it's time to find a destination that you love. So according to your interests, according to what's popping right now in your mind, you can decide where you want to go. For example, I would love to go to Japan. Why? Because first of all, everything is so technologically advanced there. It's beautiful. I love manga. They're so cute. I love the Japanese language too. I love the way it sounds. I would love to learn about this culture a little bit more. I love their food. Let me not start with the food. That's one of my interests. What are your interests? If you want to go to Europe in general, there's so much history. South of America, Latin countries, so much culture, so much music, so much colors. There's so many beautiful countries you can go to, you can visit. You can search on Google, you can search on TikTok. TikTok is my favorite thing. Find your destination and then you need to start searching for a ticket. So finding a ticket, I personally start searching on Google Flights. Google Flights is my best friend. I love it because it kind of mixes all the sites, you know, all the kayaks, all the hoppers of this world in one, and it just gives you the best out of every website. It's fun to just browse, you know. It's so well made. You can choose a particular date, you can choose a particular destination, or you can just put anywhere, or if you're flexible, you can put flexible dates. So it's just very nice to see how the price changes, and it even shows you when it's a good time to book it, when the price is in a good bracket, if it's cheap, or if it's in the bad bracket, if it's very expensive. I start searching for a ticket minimum 3 months before. If you're like searching 2 months prior to your trip, it's gonna be so expensive, but don't book so early either, because it's gonna be very expensive too. You gotta find the sweet space of like 5 to 3 months. You gotta start searching and purchasing your ticket in that sweet space. As I said, there's Google Flights, but if you want to search on anything else, of course you can search on the company you want to fly with. Sometimes the tickets are okay, I guess. You can find also on Expedia some deals sometimes. But one thing I would say is be careful to buy the right ticket. Sometimes when it's too good to be true, it's because it is too good to be true. So just check. I always buy a ticket that has included a 23-kilogram bag because I will always travel with a 23-kilogram bag. Just make sure, because sometimes you think, oh my god, the cheapest ticket, and then you have to pay for the bag, you have to pay for the seat, you have to pay to breathe. Like, it's not working out. So don't fall in that trap. So now you have your ticket, you're excited, the adrenaline has kicked in. Now you have to find an accommodation. I kind of shop the ticket and the accommodation around the same time because I'm trying to see when's the time that is less expensive for the ticket and the accommodation. There are like 3 kind of big types of accommodation: 1 hotel, 2 Airbnb, and 3 hostel. So the first one, y'all all know it, it's a hotel. So the pros of a hotel, it's 24/7 service. There's nothing you have to worry about. Like, everything is there for you, and it's normally very secure, and the location is kind of nice. The cons, I would say that it's rather on the expensive side. If you want to cook, if you don't want to go out to eat every single time, you don't have a space to cook. If you have an apartment hotel, it's different, but you know what I mean. Sometimes the location is not optimal, and if you want a good location, it's gonna be expensive. So these are the cons for the hotel. So Airbnb, the pros: it's private, you're living more like a local, and you can cook. You can cook and save a little bit of money on breakfast, on lunches. You can prepare your lunches, bring them with you, and then you're good to go. You know, that's what I usually do. Then you go out for dinner, and when you search well, you can actually get a great location. From experience in Portugal, we had like the best locations ever. It was 10 out of 10 every single time. We adored it. It's kind of less expensive depending on the time and the place you choose, but always a gamble. That's the thing. The tip I always have to give you is to check the comments. Always check the comments. Always check the comments for everything, because it's so telling and it won't be much of a gamble. Another con, no 24/7 service like the hotels. You know, you can text your Airbnb host, but I don't think they're gonna answer at 2 a.m. You know, some are amazing, but you know what I mean, they're still humans. And sometimes location is not that optimal. You really have to gauge with transportation too. Like, you have to check if your Airbnb is in a great place for transportation. And the last one is hostels. I have personally never tried hostels. I just don't think they're my cup of tea, but I've heard nice things, good things from other people. They're so cheap. They're so cheap, it's ridiculous. So if you're like backpacking, or if you're really trying to travel on a budget, this is the best place for you. You get to meet new people, because normally they're like dorms. Some of them have like private rooms with like private bathrooms, but normally they're like dorms. There are like maybe 4 to 8 people in the dorm, and there's like a shared bathroom and a shared kitchen, but the rest, it's like a feel of hotel. If you don't really mind sharing a room with strangers, it's a good option. Of course, everybody has a safe, so you have like a key for that. You can put everything in there, and you only have the key. So, and normally hostels are like so well located. You're so close to everything. It's perfect for you. You don't have to travel a lot. You don't have to use transportation to go from A to B. Cons for me, it's shared bathrooms, shared kitchens. Of course, you need to have a little bit of decorum. Of course, it's less private. So depending on who you are, what you like to do, I would consider that. When you have found your perfect accommodation, you're down to the activities, the best thing that I would suggest you to do is go on TikTok. TikTok has been amazing, an amazing search engine for the past like years. So many great activities, some that you've never heard of and some that like are must that everybody comments about it. And the good thing about TikTok is that people will comment. Even though one activity on TripAdvisor has 5 comments, you go on TikTok and you're gonna find everything you need to know. So what I search is X location things to do, X location activities, and then I would go to Pinterest too, because Pinterest has like the greatest itineraries done for you. X location itinerary, and it gives you so many blogs, so many articles where you can like pick the activities you want to do. Rome in 3 days, Rome in 5 days, Rome in 7 days, Rome on a weekend. Like, you have every type of variation ever. I build a Excel spreadsheet, or I just build a list. I write every single activity that I would like to do. I try to group them depending on their location. So if an activity is close to another one, I would most likely do them on the same day. If one activity is very far, I would specifically plan a day for this activity and then add optional activities if we're able to do them, or like chiller activities because we might be tired and whatnot. Those two could literally plan your whole trip. I also go on Google. Like, Google is a combination of Pinterest and TikTok, so it just gives you the more like formal things, I would say, on Google. And the last thing that really consolidates everything that I plan is going on YouTube and searching for vlogs. I watch vlogs or the locations I go to for ages before I go to this place. I want to know everything. I want to know how they experienced it, how they loved it, and I try to find it at the same time I'm going. For example, if I'm going in October, I'm gonna search X location October or X location in autumn, and it's gonna give me everything that's probably open and everything that's probably closed. It just helps to see how people experience it too. YouTube, love ya, will always love ya, you're great. If you want to do an activity, I would suggest you to search on Get Your Guide. If you're literally searching for anything, any activity, they probably have it, and the prices are kind of less expensive actually than searching on anything else. And you can like plan a little folder of activities according to where you're going, and it's very, very nice. And also, don't sleep on Airbnb activities. We booked a boat day and it was so freaking nice. We had the best time. It was so fun and we would do it again. Airbnb activities and Get Your Guide, best apps. Love them. The next thing is how to get around. How the hell do I get to point A to point B to point B to point C and know it all? Because sometimes you look at people and you're like, but how did you get there? Like, how is it so easy for you to just, oh, today we're going there and we're taking the train and we're taking the bus? Listen, let me break it down for you. Very, very easy, okay? If you want to go to Europe, okay, most of the time, if not all the time, they have trains, and trains are your best friends, okay? They practically go everywhere and they're so inexpensive. I love using the website Rome to Rio or Omio. Both of them, they just show you everything you could do, every transportation you could use to go from point A to point B. So if you really don't know how to go to, let's say, from Rome to Naples, you could use a car, you could use a taxi, you could use, there's a train and then bus, there's a ferry, there's a lot of things. And it's so perfect. So both of them great. You need to be best friends with the metro too. So I use train first, then I use bus, metro, and then I use Uber if it's like not that expensive. For example, in Portugal it was €4 anywhere you would go. That was crazy. That was crazy. And then buses, planes, you know, planes very, very optional, but if you got the money, I'm not gonna hold you back. So I have a whole folder of travel things It's called catching flights. There's Bolt. It's an alternative of Uber. For the UK, I've heard that City Mapper is amazing. So if you're going to the UK, download City Mapper. And lastly, for money, the money you bring on a trip depends on what you want to do during your trip. I know a lot of people that go to Paris, for example. They love shopping. So you're gonna want to save a little bit more for the shopping experience. It really depends on what you want to do. So I can't tell you a fixed rate or a fixed price depending on the place, but you got to save a little bit more than you think you're gonna spend, because you never know what could happen. And you have to have a cushion. You need to have a cushion. This is something that people often forget. Traveling is not a money move. Traveling is nothing but for leisure and for pleasure. So you gotta know that your money is leaving and it's down the drain, but it's for great experiences. So sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's good to spend your money. Money is a tool. Money comes and goes. You need to learn how to detach from this money, because once you do that, you're gonna enjoy your trip, you're gonna have fun, and that's why it's important to plan your money before the trip and not stress about it during. So yeah, these are the fundamentals of how to plan your trip. Okay, so now I'm gonna talk about how I planned Portugal. So I planned it with my bestie, the one I traveled with. Our first initial plan was going in May because there were less students yet, because normally people finish in June and university will be finished in April. Booked our ticket in February, so February, March, April, May, 3 months before. Our ticket was in the normal type of price range. So we booked it, and then we had to change it because of school. So we changed it to June. Because we took a ticket that had a modifiable date, we didn't pay anything, and it was great. So you better check that out too. And then when we had our ticket, we started searching for accommodations. I think we had booked everything by the end of March, maybe mid-March actually. Every week or so we would book a Airbnb. So we went to 4 places in Portugal: Porto, Lisbon, Lagos, and we did Madeira. We had 2 cities each for the activities, for the accommodations. And so we were searching, and we would get back together and talk about it and book the place. For the activities, we had built a table on Google. It was like a Excel spreadsheet, and we wrote every single activity we could find, and then we would highlight the activities that we would really like to do, and the other ones were like optional or just there if we didn't know what we wanted to do. And so we started off like that, and then we put the prices right next to them and what day we could be doing it. We had like 2 travel days, so we would add the travel days and see according to our energy the activity that would be more fitting to do at that time. And so it was really nice because we were so in sync. It was so well done. Definitely suggest you to build a table with your friend and just write the activities that you would like to do and the places you would like to eat and all of that jazz. So, and it kind of builds a certain excitement with your friend, and all the places and everything is just so cool. For transportation, for Portugal, we used trains and Ubers. To go to Lagos to Albufeira, we used a train. It was a 45-minute train. For Madeira, we used a car because it's a small island and there's not a lot of like transportation. Like there's no metro. It was just more convenient to take a car, and honestly, when I tell you, it was like the best decision. We could go anywhere. We could see the beautiful landscapes. It's beautiful. If you ever go to Portugal, you need to stop at Madeira. And for the money, I used cash at the beginning, and then I completed most of my things with my card. I prefer to have cash on me. That's how I do it. And yeah, that's basically a breakdown of our travel planned and what we did. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown of how I plan my travels, how you can plan your travels too. I will put down in the description box helpful tips, helpful tools for you to read and just get reference on. If you want to watch my travels, I have a playlist that I'll link down below. Why don't you subscribe if you haven't already? So thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.